Ladies and gentlemen, another fun show here. We love bringing on some of the experts in our community to help us to highlight those who are making a difference in our little planet right here. So we had to find some experts that are good with the roofing, siding, fascia, important stuff for a house, right? And you guys are based out of Illinois. You serve the whole St. Louis area, is that right?
Yes.
And Metro East. And so we needed to get some more expertise in here. So we found somebody, Amber and Lorenzo. Thank you both for coming in here.
Thanks for having us.
With that, we'll do a quick shout out to our sponsors, everybody. On the back wall behind us, you can see we have the our sponsors, Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things in your little castle. See what I did there? You like that? In your little castle. That's the name of our show. All right, that makes sense. And so we're always looking for the leaders that do that, and that's all right. So with that, we also have our other sponsors. We have with Carroll House, we have USA Mortgage, and USA Mortgage now, because I've got my mortgage license, and that ties into what we're working on here. We love what they do. There's the Flowers team from USA Mortgage helping us do what we do. So with that, let's put up on the wall. We've got your Facebook page and a great looking website. We got the web developer here too, don't we? And so Chelsea is in the house. She's over here helping us document all of what we're doing here. Smile for the camera, everybody. All right, everybody, let's talk a little bit about this. Tell me, Lorenzo, Amber,
Yes.
Why did you guys decide to get into the roofing, siding, fascia business, helping people make their houses beautiful? Why did you decide to do this?
But
That's all you.
well,
We started because it was a dream, and that's what we decided to make it.
Yeah.
It was a family thing, and yeah, I mean.
Well, with years of expertise and obviously the skills, Lorenzo.
yes, I've
tell me
been
a
in
little
the
bit more.
construction for all my life in the construction business, and it's just finally owning my own business and helping customers, homeowners, get their house done right.
Yeah, well, it's an important task to make sure that somebody has a house that looks appropriate, right? Because this is your livelihood. This is where people live and breathe, and it's also their most valuable asset, right?
Yep.
Something that they can pass on or allow for inheritance to somebody. So kind of neat that you get to help people do that. Tell me then, what's the path, Lorenzo? What led you to this industry? Is this something you just said one day you woke up and said, or did you start as a very young lad?
Yes. Very
Okay.
young. Started in the construction business. Just seeing how business owners run their business, people that I worked for through the years, and I just knew I could make it better for the homeowner and for myself. So why we got into that.
Building that legacy for our family
Okay.
Yeah.
is a lot of it.
Tell us why that's important, Amber.
Well, I mean, we have what, 6 kids,
We have 6 kids. Yes.
and that 3 of them started out with us, so it was more or less, now they're on their own doing their own thing, and it's we want to make sure that we keep it going. So then there's something, possibly if we don't spend it all or sell everything before we pass, that there's something to give back.
Well, that's key. Tell me why that's so important for the longevity of a business. I mean, if you're going to have something that passes 6 kids, they're keeping you busy, and they're going to take this thing over someday.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
All right. What's a hobby? What is it that got you started that led towards this for each of you? Is this something you fell into? You said, Amber, you tell me this one. Why you decided?
I like the design part. I
Okay.
mean, that's me. I like to help the homeowners put the colors together. Just designing it and helping them out if there's a situation where they possibly can't afford it or what have you. Maybe the insurance company isn't covering it. We individualize everyone. We try to help everyone out.
Very custom the work you can do so that you can help address. A lot of people don't talk about that. They're saying, hey, the price is the price, but you're saying you work with them to make sure
We do work with them.
to move things around and make adjustments
Yep.
to fit into their budget. That's
We
important.
do, and then we also offer some financing if it's something that clients are interested in, and or sometimes maybe your mortgage company that you can go there and possibly get a little money off of your house if you refinance. We try to be more homey, I guess, versus a business person.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Okay. No, that's key because a lot of times the financing is what limits a lot of people. And when you're talking about a house, you don't want to halfway do something. You want to make sure it looks thorough, complete, and
Yes.
beautiful as a matter of how you're going to help them improve the value of their house, and like we talked about, family heirloom, something they can pass on to the kids.
Yes.
And do that. How long have you been in doing this now, Lorenzo? We talked a little bit. 25 years.
25
or
years.
more.
Yep.
You've been actually working. Tell me a little bit about some of your experience and when you got started and what you've learned.
Well, some of my experience is that, going back to other businesses that I've worked for, then it's just sometimes they just, try to maximize their profit and not giving them a real strong install. So that's where we change that. Our business does. Their install is perfect. There's different ways of installing roofs. There's different ways of putting siding up. Different ways, and
Doing window wraps or patios or
anything like that. So what we do is we make sure that the install is perfect. No matter what material they buy. Mm-hmm.
So installation is the key to the success of your
Yes, absolutely.
your work.
Yes.
customers happy.
Customers happy. Yeah. So how often? I mean, I guess there's a lot of variance right there. Somebody could say we can install it this way and kind of cut some corners, or we can install it the proper way and do it the most effective. It's going to be best for your client.
Yes, way more best for the client. Object is never water to come inside your home, so it's why they're changing the roof or siding, or window wraps or anything.
Or windows or doors, there's.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that again, we like to focus on the people who talk about the fact that they're doing things in a quality fashion, because I mean, we've talked about this a dozen times, but it's a matter of if you do things right, especially if you do them right the first time, you save a lot of hassle for everybody. How many people can install their own roof? That's not something that's very
We've
normal.
seen some pretty disasters on that one.
Okay, you've seen people actually try to install their own roof.
Yes.
People get estimates from us, and then they'll call us. We're following up with them. Oh yeah, well we got so and so to come out, and then next thing you know, it's they're calling us a week later and asking a bunch of questions like, trying to figure out why they charged me so much, but they didn't do this, and this like you were explaining. And I'm like, well, now you got your insurance company involved, so that's it can be pretty detrimental on some homeowners whenever they don't do everything, especially when it comes to insurance, because they won't cover you. They won't pay next time if you don't do everything that's on their scope of work.
Yeah, well, tell me a little bit more about your background, your history too. You've been doing this for a long time as well, and so for somebody that's got the experience followed up with Lorenzo here, you guys make a powerful group.
Yeah. He pretty much does a lot of the getting up high. I can do some of the lower stuff. I'm not too much on getting on the roofs. I will.
Okay.
I probably should a little bit more, but I shake like a scaredy cat the whole time. So.
Okay.
But it's my perspective, I guess, is you get what you pay for. We give the homeowners, okay, we had a client yesterday we were meeting with to go over some colors. And I'm like, okay, so what do you want? Do you want good, better, best? She said better. So in the middle. So we can,
Okay.
we have products that are lesser and we have products that are higher. I mean, everybody does. So you get an option. You can pick what you want. We're going to suggest, especially when it comes to roofing, your ventilation, and how what type of shingles. We prefer to put architectural shingles on it. It lasts a lot longer. It's prettier. Ventilation on the roof is a key. But if somebody's coming in, they're just wanting to do siding and not get the roof done, then we have to look at the ventilation on the roof to kind of figure out. But how we did with the lady yesterday, she said better, so we showed her the options of the colors for, the siding.
And talk about
Herbaceous
that. You mentioned ventilation. A lot of people don't realize that there's a venting airflow containment up there above their. That's where a lot of heat goes. How important is the ventilation? How does that affect what you're going to do to help somebody?
It affects the life expectancy of your roof, your shingles, and your siding. I mean, it affects everything. Your
Your cost
bills.
of electricity. I mean, it's a big. A lot of people do not pay attention to that. How much ventilation that those roofs should have. So it's amazing your heat and coolant cost comes way down when you have the proper ventilation coming through your attic.
Well, that to me is something we've had a few roofing guys on the show before, and it's just a matter of just discussion, but ventilation was not something we've talked about before, and I didn't realize how important it is. I've actually just recently went up into my roof because the outside square vent, what do you call that vent on the outside?
A gable vent.
A gable vent, that's right. And it finally had fallen off. And so I'm like, we can't have that open because birds will fly in there or whatever.
Yeah.
But, But I decided to go up there, and I'm like, wow, there is a ton of insulation. That was interesting. Nobody had ever been up in my attic before, obviously, because none of it had been disturbed. But very different temperature up there too, and it's controlled. And I realized how important that is for the. You talked about the cost efficiency for your heating bill,
Yes.
or cooling bill, I guess
Yes.
you'd say. That's an impactful thing. So if somebody doesn't vent that area correctly, that's a big problem that people might run into as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people that don't really pay attention to what they're doing when they actually seal your roof at 100%. So what you get is a lot of moisture from all you get moisture, a lot of dampness in there. So it has nowhere to go.
Condensation.
Condensation is the word I was looking for.
Oh wow, yeah,
So
that's important. Tell me about that. Well, as a matter of those kinds of issues, I mean, those are things that impact the whole flow and everything that goes. Because if you bring down the value of a house, you bring down the value of a particular project, then you've got a lot more issues that can be there too.
Yeah, you get a new roof install, and they install, new pipe boots or box vents or whatever you want to call them, turtle vents. Excuse me. And it could be a few months later. It could be, a year down the road, and they're calling you and they're like, hey, my roof is leaking. Well, we go out there, we do a roof inspection. There's nothing going on. We don't see any issues. Let the homeowner know, there's no issues that we're seeing. And they call again next month or what have you, and we come back out, and then at that point we're doing an attic inspection. When we do that, a lot of times we'll find condensation built up on flue pipes coming from the hot water heater or the furnace, whatever other pipes come through the roof. He knows more than I do, but it's we've seen that happen a lot.
Yeah, and then you start to see that drip that comes down, and there's no actual hole in the roof or a leak in the roof. It's just actually condensation built up.
There's no ventilation in there.
No ventilation. Gosh, okay. We had not talked about ventilation before on the show here, so thanks for bringing that to our attention. We also have our co-producer. I've upgraded Chelsea to co-producer. So if you have any notes you need for us, anything important, feel free to you can show up on your phone and or whatever you want to say. What's that?
I was just going to say the roof needs to breathe.
Yeah, the roof needs to breathe, so that's important. So thank you for our assistance.
So then that creates mold. You create a whole lot of problems when you actually seal a roof in like that. When you do get these contractors that don't know really just in there to seal a roof, seal your roof like that. So
But you can't just add ridge vent or ventilation to the roof and not have anything on the exterior of the the other four walls. So either you got to have gable vents, and if you get new siding and you're ridding the gable vents, you need to have some kind of vented soffit. The best way is to do vented soffit along your eaves. You can do solid soffit along your gables, but the best way is full vented soffit or center vent soffit and have your ridge vent on, because that brings air goes out, so it comes up and it goes out through the roof.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you need experts, all right? These are things that we don't hear every day. If you don't know these things, you could cause mold building up. Could you imagine having mold in a house? Not because the roof is leaking, but because the ventilation wasn't set up correctly. And wow, now you've got mold can cause people to have to move out of their house. I mean, that could be a big problem. I hadn't heard anybody bring that up. But yeah, you get mold in a house. It could be anywhere, not just in the basement. A lot of people think that's because of the basement. Water builds up, backs up, whatever, sump pump. But if you have it in the raft, then it goes around through the ducts and all over the house.
Yep. I guess
If it's not noticed for a long period of time, but a lot of people, they'll see a spot on the ceiling and be like, oh, well, that wasn't there before.
Right. Interesting. All right, the expert stuff we're talking about here. Tell me, with regard to the whole overall business, what fuels your passion about what you get to do then? I mean, you're allowing people.
For me, I like to work with the homeowners. I know that when we get on a project, I know it's going to get done right. I just really like. I like to install to get perfect. I can't emphasize on a perfect install. I really enjoy that. We treat every home like if it's our own.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, we treat
Words running
every
out of
home.
my mouth.
I just love when it's just straight and it's just proper installed. Then regard what kind of material they use, as long as it's just done right the first
It
time.
has to be done right.
That's key. We've made that point before. A lot of people talk about they have higher quality this, lower quality that, but they don't talk as much about the fact that the installation is so key to that. And if you're going to make it perfect or as close as you can to perfect, that's
We're not perfect.
very important. Well, I mean,
But we try. We try.
our-
We do the best we can, you know, and we're always constantly, you know, walking around making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that's the main thing. And if the homeowner has any questions during the project or before or after, you know, we take that time and we'll spend hours in homeowners' houses looking, you know, talking to them, showing them, explaining to them what soffit, what fascia is, what, you know, gutters are, what, you know, window wraps are, or, you know, just everything. We itemize, we make sure that we itemize every little detail that they are
There you go.
requesting.
Now you're talking about really helping the community. So that's when we put the cowboy hat on. Good job. But that's what this show is all about. So take note. Somebody's going to go through the steps necessary to make sure and explain everything in detail. Take note. These are the kinds of people you want to work with. This is the kind of business owner you want to be. This show is designed to help people learn from business experts who have the breadth of background you guys are bringing and the knowledge you're sharing here. Help them understand what it is to be a successful business. And you guys are exemplary with that. We appreciate you doing that. This is our expert crew here, everybody. Xpert Xteriors, serving the St. Louis area and Metro East. X-xroofing.com. 618-225-2744. And they will make sure and hook you guys up with everything you need to make sure that you get the proper installation. So with that, we're going to continue on here. A couple more things we like to talk about. We looked up with regard to your reviews. You got an A+ on the BBB, and you got a number of reviews you've got all over the place, but we saw some on your website. So if it's all right, you guys, I'm going to put those up on the wall to your right. To everybody, you're going to look over to the left over here, and I'm going to put up on the wall. I press our little magic button over here, and it puts up whatever is up on the wall over there. So there it is. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about this. Vernoria D, 5 stars. Amber gave a great estimate. Chris was awesome. Martin W showed up, talked about what to expect. The insurance adjusters. Kelly L, house looks great from roofing to siding. Was completed with their neighbor. And Will, that's some great information, some great insight there. Because if you're not getting a house done well, you're not going to get those kinds of reviews. So those are what we're looking for. We want people to pay attention because those are the things that are going to set yourself apart. And good job at collecting some reviews, because that's another task of it on its own.
It can be difficult. It's hard to get some homeowners or clients to get out there and get a review, but you know that's very important for us if they can, you know, share their experience, good or bad. You know, every job's different, or every project's different, and every client is different. And mind you, we are not perfect.
Well, it's humble to say that, but you're doing a great job as exemplified. I want to show over on the wall there. Here is their BBB page. You can see this. Xpert Xteriors A+. Group doing a great job there. So we wanted to point that out to everybody, because that's not easily attained, and to get that kind of accreditation from a respected source like the BBB is important. So that's awesome. Tell me, what is the one thing that you think sets your business apart? If you had to get down to, I think I know the answer here, but we can talk about it a little bit more. But when you really do work above and beyond, what is it that has provided you for such success you've had now? You're getting close to a decade with this business. Your second half of the 5 years, and now you're in the second half towards a decade. What do you think has provided you guys to have the success and set yourselves apart?
Go ahead,
I think it's personable. You know, that we're very personal, and
personal with the clients.
you know, yeah. I mean, we're always like he said, he took the words out of my mouth. We treat every project, client, you know, as if their family or their homes are our homes. You know, I'm not going to put something on your home that I wouldn't put on mine. I'm not going to have, you know, the installation of whatever, you know, we're putting on at that point. If it looks like crap, we're just not going to, you know, I'm not going to take that. Because if it was my home and I was having somebody do it, I want it done right. Especially the kind of money that you spend. I mean, you can $50,000 on a, you know, an example of a total house wrap, you know, roof, siding, fascia, soffit, gutters. You know, it gets expensive.
How do you add to that, Lorenzo?
Well, it's basically the same thing. It's just I just like install. I like stuff perfect. You know,
We're
when
old
it comes to
school.
our install, you know, it's just, you know, barbecues, kids. You don't really, you know, you're looking more at your siding in your house when you step back and look at what hard work, you know, you've done in, you know, any homeowner to be able to attain that house. And when you're looking at it, you know, that's what you look at, straight and perfection.
Well, with
That's
that-
me.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking for. Those are the people we want to exemplify that we want to bring on the show to talk about that. I'm going to bring up, this is a little bit of your work here. We can see some big projects you've worked on over here. I'm going to put a couple of these up on the screen for everybody to take a look at. Boy, you're some heavy duty lift. That's a sideways roof. Everybody, take a look here
That's
on the
the,
wall.
that's the YMCA we were doing with, isn't it?
Yep.
Is that the YMCA?
Yep.
That we were doing,
That's a wall.
yeah.
Okay, I'm going
Very,
to scroll
very-
to the right here. A little bit more of the work there. That's some of the underlaying and your guard there, and some more of that. Wow, this seems like a heck of a project. You got 5 ladders on the six ladders on the side there, but there you are. That's what you're working on. Is that right?
Yep.
Yes.
Great. There's your building, some logos. Tell me about this. Now that shows a little bit of that vent, right? A ridge
Yes,
vent. Is
yeah,
that what
Ridge
that
vent,
is?
yep,
Yep.
that's ridge vent.
Okay. Tell me about that and why that's so important.
Go ahead.
Ventilation is important. Ventilation is 100% important. It saves the life of your shingles instead of the shingles, you know, lasting 10 years. You know, they say that they're supposed to be 15 to 20, some 30. You know, if you don't have the right ventilation, they're not going to last. They're not going to last. They crumble.
Okay.
You know, they get dried out and they just crumble.
Well, that's not what you want with a roof because
No.
it protects the whole rest of your house, and that's important.
Yes.
So
Roof is the
something
most
you
important
definitely-
part
And-
of your asset there.
Other side of that roof, we'll put this up a little bit there for everybody to take a look more. But that vent again, and then you've got what is that coming through? That's a
That's a furnace vent.
furnace vent,
Yep.
and around that you want to make sure that gets put. Nice looking neighborhood they're in over there, and they got the little pond in the backyard. But yeah, key to what you're doing, and great looking work you've got going on there. Well, we'll come back to some of the pictures of your work as we continue on here, but we wanted to talk about that and nail down some of what really sets you apart. This next question is really important because I think a lot of people do make mistakes. They don't realize what they don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. And so how often do you see people make mistakes? And what kind of mistakes do people make when they're making a decision to get a roof put on their house and the soffits and fascia? And tell us, give our viewers out there something that they can look for to say, hey, here's a mistake you do not want to make because this can cost you a lot of money.
I would strongly recommend stay with local companies. There's a lot of we had a hailstorm. Do
Okay.
not hire
Out of state.
out-of-state contractors.
That's
It's bad. It's bad because when something happens or if something happens, their install is not correct. You won't find them no more. Make sure it's a local company. You know, any local company is good.
Make sure that they're licensed. Make sure, you know, because we hand our clients a folder, roofing or siding. You know, it has our good standing from Illinois. It has our roofing license in there. It has our insurance certificate in there. It has, we are certified with Owens Corning shingles. So it has that certification in there. You know, and we also give kind of like a breakdown of, you know, the roofing system. So between your shingles, your underlayment, drip edge, and stuff like that, you know, everything that to install a roof is in that folder. But then it also has information about us too. But you know, most importantly, when it comes to making sure that you hire
Make sure
the right
that the
person,
company
that
has an
they're-
office.
Right.
Make sure
In the
that
city
company
they're-
has an office. It doesn't matter if it's in Illinois or St. Louis. Just make sure it has an office before you
whether
hire
it's in
these
their
guys.
home or in a building, you know, a separate building. It's just more or less make sure that they are legit and they, you know, they've been in business a little while. They are certified. You know, just license and insurance is just the key. License and insurance.
Wow, yeah, because it's that term that they often mention is storm chasers, and they say, oh, there's a big storm in St. Louis, some hail hit. So they come in from all over the region, and somebody might even say, hey, let's start up a roofing company. This is what we want to do right now.
right.
Don't even have a residence. We had another guest on the show I won't mention but this is a quote. It's in the video if you want to watch it. But they said some of these places that come through town, their warranty is only as good. They call this the taillight warranty.
Right.
As long as you can see their taillights, you still have the warranty. But once they're gone past that, now you've got to figure out who's going to do any kind of work to make things right and fix
Yep.
it.
Yes, sir.
So right now, a lot of our calls or roofs that's been done through companies like that come in storm chase, now they're leaking, but the company's not here no more. So it's pretty sad that that happens. So
Yep.
it's pretty sad.
That's something definitely to watch out for, because if you're going to have work done on a house, you don't want it to be something that you only have a warranty that extends as long as you can see their tail
Tail
lights.
light, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And if they're gone, who's going to deal with that? We'll talk a little bit more about this in the second half of the show. We're finishing up here, a couple minutes left here. I want to jump back in and show a little bit more. Here's a nice, very extended roof here, at multiple levels here. Tell me a little bit about this roof and what you had going on here.
So this roof,
Which one is this one?
so many that we do. It's just a big house, big beautiful house. I mean, it's just.
It's got an architectural
Yeah, what kind
shingle.
of shingles are these?
Those are going to be Owens Corning, right?
Yep, that's one's going. Yep.
Owens Corning architectural shingle.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really make out the color from the picture there. There's a lot of glare, but
Okay, and is that was before, and then I guess, is this the same roof? Is this another roof?
Just different roof.
Okay, yeah, that looks.
Yeah.
Well, you could tell by looking at that what kind of shingles they've got.
yep.
And look at this roof. How many squares is a roof like this? They call it squares, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
Well, how many squares would a roof like this be?
This is probably around maybe about 45 squares.
Wow.
This roof.
Okay, that sounds like a lot. How big is a square? Is that a?
It's a
100 square feet.
Okay. Okay. So 10 by 10, essentially. Okay, generally. And another one here, that ridge vent going down the middle there, very important again.
yes, very important.
Yes.
Now a lot of people don't pay attention to that, but we really talked about that. So that's something that will make the endurance of your roof.
There's a lot of roofs in your neighborhood that don't have ridge vent.
Is that true? Okay. Well, we should probably. I'll talk to some of the neighbors as we do that a little
There's
bit.
actually quite a few roofs in the neighborhood that could use a new roof.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I know some of the neighbors.
And some that are missing some fascia. Fascia
I
and,
gotcha.
and a couple pieces of siding on a couple of them down the road.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Our studio is located next to a nice neighborhood where we've got
Yes.
some people here that might need some roof work. You could say so.
Yes.
That's important. We've got a lot of roofing companies around here, but it's only those that we trust. The ones that are on our show here that we know have the expertise. So that's why we've got Amber and Lorenzo here to
We
help
don't do any
explain.
door knocking, so we won't come to your house and knock on the door and say, hey, you need a new roof or you're missing some fascia over here or whatever. We won't do that. We
Okay.
just, if you give us a call, we'll help you out.
All right, everybody, you're enjoying the Your Little Castle show. We've got some experts here. We're going to have another half-hour show to discuss a lot more with them. Stay tuned as we continue here. There's a lot more to share, a lot more of excitement, and a lot more expertise that they bring to the table. Stay tuned for more, everybody. This is the Your Little Castle show. Giddy up.